Shock Piece: The Search for Freedom, a novel by C. Nguyen. Chapter 10: Dark Days, May 1975. The bank closure had stripped father of everything he had accumulated over the years. "Will we still be able to withdraw money from our savings account, G?" father asked mother, as if she was the treasurer of Vietnam at the time. He looked at her wishfully for an answer, as if she would have a solution for everything. Perhaps mother was always the figure of authority in father's mind, Yang thought. "The bank had closed indefinitely, father," Yang said resignedly. "Yes, I know." Nguyen nodded his head. He had already got that information from his friends, who had put their money in the Republic of South Vietnam National Reserve Bank. "But what happened to my savings and pension, and my government bonds? Am I going to be compensated for those? Who's going to benefit from them? Are they all gone?" He found that too upsetting to even think about. "And how are we going to live?" Nguyen continued his line of questioning. "How are we going to survive? We've got nothing left," Nguyen repeated. "Nothing." He was awed by the circumstances his family found themselves in with the permanent closure of the bank. For an influential and knowledgeable man, sometimes her father was so simple-minded, Yang thought. On the other hand, this righteous man was probably in shock, and his mind had probably refused to accept the brutal reality. Yang sympathized with her father as she and Mac had shared the same fate. There was nothing left for them either. No one was able to answer his queries now. Even mother was quiet for a while. G looked at her husband and tried to find a plausible answer to ease his anguish. "We'll manage, dear. We'll be okay," G reassured Nguyen. Her voice soft but firm, with a resonance that was deeper and more powerful than it sounded. She had somehow become a tower of strength for him in matters like this. She just knew that she had to, G thought. He seemed lost, poor man. His vigor had evaporated, and he had aged a decade in just a few weeks after the fall. His joie de vivre had disappeared. There was no more drive in him. G understood her husband's shock. His optimism had always been infectious in many dire straits before, but G knew that this final blow was gradually destroying him. He came from a family whose past wealth had bestowed many privileges and an affluent lifestyle. It had made him a trusting, carefree, and generous man throughout his life. Even though his journey had been eventful in the war-torn country, Nguyen never had to worry about his financial situation. He had taken his luck for granted. Nguyen felt helpless. Now everything was crumbling. He had never thought that all his life savings, government bonds and pension would vanish into thin air. His family did not have any other source of income, but had relied solely on Nguyen's for many years. Except for Yang, who had married recently, the rest of the 6 children were dependents, and Chi had been a housewife all her life. Nguyen had been a high-ranking government official in various departments throughout his employment in the Republic of South Vietnam before his retirement in 1970. He had hoped to live in a unified Vietnam in peace, in a plantation of his own, and enjoy a country lifestyle away from the hubbub of a bustling city like Saigon, a dream he had had for 60 years. In the present situation, it seemed that his dream would never materialize after all. He did not know how he was going to sustain his family through the difficult times ahead without money. Life had suddenly become a burden. He tried to stand up but had to sit down again as his legs refused to hold him up. The patriarch of the family had lost control of his composure for once. After a minute of heavy silence, seeing that his wife and children were waiting for a statement from him, he had to say something to reassure them somehow. He knew that much. He wished that he could delegate the power now to someone else. "Yes, I know. The family is going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We just have to." Nguyen repeated his phrases and continued. "I know we're going to live on despite everything else," he declared gravely. He stood up again and walked slowly into his room to lie down. He needed to rest. He was too tired to think. He still had his wife, and she would take care of the family for him, Nguyen reminded himself. He believed in her as much as he had loved her since she was a young bride of 18. 25 years of marriage had not changed her much. She was still a beautiful petite woman in her early 40s, a delicate beauty. No one else was worth looking at in his eyes. She had fallen for him from the first day they met as much as he had fallen for her. They were courting when he was the young, handsome district commissioner of a small district at the far southeastern region of Bạc Liêu. It was in the 50s, when the country was in the turmoil of internal conflict between various patriotic parties, fighting for independence to overrule French oppression. They had been together throughout the most dreadful period of the Vietnam War and had managed to stay alive. Now, when peace had finally arrived, when they did not have to worry about death and misery, somehow their stability had vanished along with financial support. He felt old and useless.